Yeah, I would say probably the one thing that comes to mind when I think of him playing, and I'll revert back to a time I think when we were both playing and we were watching an NBA game, and as I remember it, somebody went in and dunked the basketball during the game, one of the pros, and it was right at the end of a quarter or a half. Maybe it was even the end of the game. They dunked it and they just kept running right into the tunnel. And just that's the way they ended it. And I remember Scoot just laughing and thinking, wouldn't that be awesome to do one time? And sure enough, I want to say it was against Garfield. Walsh got a steal at the end of a half. Whoever it was got the steal, went in, tried a layup, missed it a little bit. Scooter was following him, and he jumped up and slammed it with two hands, which of course he always wanted to dunk it in a game as well. He dunked it with two hands, and it just so happened that the tunnel was right under the basket, and he just kept running. And I think there was probably 10 or 15 seconds left in the half, but he did it anyway. And I'm sure there was an interesting conversation with Coach at the half. But as I remember that, I still remember just being in the crowd and just laughing like, geez, he talked about that how many years ago, and he actually just did it.
But we were playing a game and Scooter had a steal and he went down the court, and I knew halfway down he was going to try to dunk the basketball. And the rule was you could try a dunk anytime, but it better go down through the hoop. I didn't want you thinking about missing it. I wanted you to believe you were going to make that dunk. Well, he went down and missed it. The ball bounced way out of the rim. The other opponent got it, and they went down and scored. And I substituted for Scooter, and I knew he was upset at me, and I was upset at him. The second half came, and almost the identical play happened again. Scooter got a great steal, went down the court, and slammed it home. And not only that, ran up the side of the court so he could stare at me all the way back on defense. And I stood up, I wanted to strangle him. But at the same time, we looked at each other and we both just started laughing. I knew in that instant, Scooter would be a great high school or college coach. He had the confidence to do the right thing, and that was to slam that ball and lead Walsh to another victory.
Yeah, one of my favorite memories is our tournament game for the sectional championship. We were down 12 points, I believe, with a minute 14 to go. And he leans up to me at midcourt during a free throw and he says, "You better get your butt in gear or you've played your last basketball game as a Walsh Jesuit Warrior." Somehow we figured it out and we won that game by 2 points and moved on to the district semis. So that was just part of his confidence and just flair of his personality, that he could really ignite a spark with anybody he's playing with, because he surely got a flame in me, and somehow, some way, we figured out how to come back from double digits with a minute to go.
What made him the basketball player he was a lover of the game, loved the game of basketball, was a student of the game of basketball, and through his entire career in high school and into college, he continued to try to just better himself as a overall basketball player.
But he was the ultimate competitor. Never backed away from a challenge, whether it was on the basketball court, classroom, in the band, whatever he was doing, he was a competitor. The other thing I would say is just he was just an unbelievably funny, good time guy. I've often said he's one of the guys I had the most fun with over the course of my lifetime, without question. More laughs with him than most people.
You either loved or hated Scooter, and I say that because I was in the love camp, because I didn't know anybody when I was really coming to Walsh. I had 3 older brothers who went to Cuyahoga Falls, and I was the first person in my family to come to Walsh. And my mom, the summer before my freshman year, just basically said, "You're not going to be around the house, get into trouble." So she came and dropped me off up here, and she was like, "Go work out or do something." So she did, and I kind of stumbled into the gym, and the dome at the time was dark and it stunk, and there was one basketball dribbling, and it was Scooter Taylor, and he basically said, "Hey, I need someone to rebound, you look perfect." So I came and rebounded, and then it was my turn and I'd shoot, and that chance encounter basically turned into an entire summer of having a big brother that would bring me up to Walsh, pick me up from my parents' house, introduce himself to my parents, like showed me what it was like to act like a man. And, you know, Walsh talks about being a man and a woman for others. Like he personified that. Like he showed me what that was. It wasn't just something on the wall. He taught me how to be a better man. And, you know, I talked to his mom about this. He's not here right now, and he wasn't able to pass on, you know, those things to his children. But I'm able to pass those things on to my children, right? Like every day he'd be in the car and he'd say, just getting a little bit better today. And if my kids were here right now, they would laugh and they'd be like, that's where you got that from. And, you know, just always playing like a champion, and the value of real hard work and showing up every day. And I tell my kids the only thing that matters is stacking days. That's from Scooter. Like he taught me that stuff. So I'm able to kind of repay the gift that he gave me by doing what he did to me to my own kids, if that makes sense, right? Teaching them how to be a better man and a better woman. So